on Donegal. Commentary comes from Tom Carr and Marty Morrissey.
Experienced de Klerk forms a strong centre-field partnership with Darren Hughes, while Vinnie Corey is a formidable force at centre-back. It's all about getting scores on the board, so Monaghan will look to the full forward line of Dermot Malone, Kieran Hughes and Conor McManus. It's a very strong and more focused Donegal team this season, with experience sprinkled throughout the team. The McGee brothers and young Ryan McHugh make up the full back line. Darragh O'Connor, Carl Lacey and Neil Gallagher all start in a revamped Donegal selection. The team captain is full forward, Michael Murphy.
Neil Gallagher. Options available over at our side of the field. Anthony Thompson is unmarked. Shot by Liam McClune is a real dangerous ball. The goalkeeper is on the turf. There's a chance there for Carl Lacey, and that's over the bar. Worked his place almost immediately for that alone. The goalkeeper, Rory Began, came quite a long way, Tom.
He came a very long way, and he didn't really clear that ball enough, and that's why Carl Lacey picked it up. You've got to have a defender coming onto that ball, but Carl Lacey turning one way, kicks it with his left, and even though he's named in that position there, a corner forward, Marty's been playing way out around the pitch, but you can see him travelling an awful lot today.
Coming across, Dermot Malone, who did well. And then he feeds Ryan Wiley. This is Dick Clerkin. Paul Finlay. There's nobody home, and the shot goes wide anyway.
That ball should be fed on another little bit, held onto it, and that's the nervousness that we're seeing in the first 10 or 12 minutes, especially coming from Monaghan in this game.
Eamon McGee gets the quick kick out again. Frank McGlenn stays wide and available. Conor McManus pursues. Here's Eamon McGee again. A chance for Oran McNeilish. Oh, he bends it superbly. It's over the bar.
Well, there you see the difference between the two attacks. A little bit of patience, a little bit of composure, a great finish by McNeilis, and Donegal certainly in the driving seat at the minute. But what's quite obvious is that Monaghan do not have as many players back in defence as Donegal do.
Desmond Moan needed to stretch out the leg there to get as far as Vinnie Corey. Paul Finlay going for that high ball again. It has the legs, it has the accuracy. That is a wonderful score by Paul Finlay. And Monaghan are up and running, but it took almost 14 minutes for this to happen. Stephen Goligly in a little bit of space, and again that game plan, it is not working for Monaghan, because when they look up they find that Kieran Hughes is not doubly marked. There's 3 or 4 players around him. He needs a little bit of support, and quickly. Paul Finlay again kicking this in. This one is a little bit short, and managers and teams will always get annoyed when balls drop in easily to opponents' goalkeepers, because it allows the option to go back into the attack and retain possession.
And the worst thing about doing it against a team like Donegal, they've plenty of players to play it out and get attacking really quickly, and they've been very intelligent with their attacking. They do not deliver the ball until they're nearly 100% it's going to end up in a Donegal man's arms.
Fabulous catch by Neil Gallagher.
And you can do it when
just
you're
like Carl
like
Lacey. Good option. Ball inside to Anthony Thompson. What can he do? He has loads of options to his right. He takes the points, and it's over the bar. That was the first time really that you could say that Monaghan just looked a little bit exposed, that Thompson had the vision to spray the ball to his right. But what a catch by Neil Gallagher.
Yeah, and you can do that when you have a player out there who's able to jump like that, feel like that, and it's the delivery of the pass. I mean, that is a great score.
Kieran Hughes, chance here, Goligly trying to get past Frank McGlenn. There's a man available. It's the left half back, Quentin Kelly, and it's got out for a 45. Now, Monaghan players are protesting that it should be a lot more than that. let's look at this. Let's see what
It was a great play. It was the one time they got a little bit of gap in the Donegal defence. Don't know how he ended up there. Foot block they're going for. I think he's certainly the goalkeeper stretched. Rory Beggan went, oh yeah, I think that's certainly a foot block. He went straight in with foot. Has to be a free, and if anything, a penalty. He led with the foot, Marty. That's certainly more than a 45.
Rory Beggan. Is this one on its way? It is. Donegal regain possession. Paddy McBrearty. Miskicked, miscued. Well gathered by Leo McClune. Back out for Zora McNeilish. Looking for the run from somebody coming through the middle. He decided to go at it himself, and he scores his second point of the game. Leo McClune. Stephen Goligly is opposite number 11 coming into challenge. Oran McNeilish. Quick ball inside, back to McNeilish again. He scored one great point in the first half. He really had to fly kick this one, and under pressure, put it over the bar.
Yeah, another great score. All his points have been excellent, and it wouldn't be hard to be the highest scorer from play. McNeilish is, and those are the type of points that are so crucial for Donegal and so hurtful for Monaghan. It's just simple points.
Ball inside is cut out by Frank McGlenn, but he loses it. There's a chance here for McGuinness. Super sub, Chris McGuinness brings the game alive, and St. Shernach's spark of 31,000 plus to their feet.
He did it so well because there was 3 or 4 players converging in him, and this could be the spark we were looking for. We mentioned it earlier on, Marty, that it would take a goal. We've got the goal. Now will the game open up? The next score is going to tell an awful lot about the destiny of this game.
Neil McGee gets by Desi Moore. He's straight through. He lays it off. It's Anthony Thompson. What can he do? There's a pass inside, and it's gone screaming over the crossbar. But there was a goal opportunity, if only for a second.
Oh, it was a great goal opportunity. It was a great breakthrough, and they've been doing that all afternoon. They found the chinks in the Monaghan defence, and they just slipped little ball. Great ball across the square. Had a shot. Certainly he's going for a goal, but just skims off his boot over the bar.
A point for Ryan McHugh. Two number 5s, Anthony Thompson and Desi Moore. Colin McFadden sees a bit of space. Darren Hughes comes into challenge. Back again for Paddy McBrearty. He's done it once. He's going for 2.
McFadden just being able to slice through the Monaghan defence much too easy, much too simply. Gives back a great ball. Nobody really picking up. It was the other end of the pitch. There'd be 3-4 players on him, and all Donegal have done here, Marty, is soak up the pressure after the goal that Monaghan have thrown at them, and have responded with 2 superb points.
And here is Kieran Hughes. That's 3 Donegal defenders. Decides to have a goal, and that's over the bar. Good ball for Paddy McBrearty. Coming through is Ryan McHugh. He's already scored 1 point. They converge on him. He gives it back to McBrearty, and that is over the bar. Excellent play by Paddy McBrearty.
And those scores, you can nearly predict them. You can see them happening. They're building, and then one player comes off the shoulder, delivers the ball, so selfless, and a simple point.
Four points between the teams. Donegal look secure and comfortable at this stage. Conor McManus has to come out into the middle of the field to try and gather possession, and that's a pretty good kick. And that is Conor McManus's first score in this Ulster final after 71.5 minutes.
Yeah, and probably only the 3rd player on the Monaghan attack to score from play.
One last attack. Knocked away. Comes far as Paddy McGrath. And Maurice Deegan blows the full-time whistle. Monaghan have been dethroned. Donegal are back as kings of Ulster. And full-time scoring, Clonus. Donegal, 15 points. Monaghan, 1-9. The Anglo-Sur Cup is back in Donegal for the 8th time in Donegal's history.
It's not won today, it's won for the last number of months, and they turned up today with the right attitude, determination, commitment to their county colours, and I got the feeling that they weren't going to be beat regardless what happened. And we conceded a goal midway through the second half, but it didn't faze them. They knew what the job was, and they knew that they had to get over the line, whatever it took, and that's what happened. And we're just very proud of them.
We would have made more mistakes than we would have liked to make, and you know, with Donegal, the way they play, get an awful lot of men behind the ball. If you make mistakes, if you don't do things right, the catch and the break and so on, and that's what happened. So, look, you know, I have to give full credit to the boys inside. They've put serious work in, and it takes a serious effort to get back to an Ulster final. Just on the day, I suppose we just weren't good enough.
I thought the younger lads as well, Ryan McHugh, Oren Manilis, done fantastic jobs for us, and have given us a bit of freshness as well in terms of legs. But the key thing for me in terms of them players was that they grew into the game, and when the chips were down, they were the guys making the moves and looking for space and trying to go forward, and that was really positive.
Yeah, very positive and a great win for Donegal. Owen, were you surprised they've got back that level of intensity they had a couple of years ago?
I definitely was. They were running empty now last year. They had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks. They brought nobody in. But this year, as Jim alluded to there, they've got Manilis and McHugh. They're fresh, they're young lads. They want to take the fight. Can't fault their effort today. They were up for the game, they were hungry, and they showed right through the game.
Deserved winners.
Yeah, definitely.
Dermot, the game got a lot of criticism, the style of the game, in contrast maybe to the Dublin game that was negative, defensive. Is that criticism fair, or is it maybe unfair to Monaghan and Donegal?
Well, look, it's the way they play the game. It wasn't a pretty game, but I must say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the intensity of it, the talk during the week. How would it go? Both teams are going to play defensively, and who was going to actually have the ability to break the actual blanket defence. It wasn't a pretty sight, but I must say it was a really intense game, and I certainly enjoyed it. It mightn't have had the free-flowing football that we saw by Dublin in the Leinster final, but I certainly enjoyed the intense battles, the rivalries and the matchups. And I suppose, you know, if you were a Monaghan man going into that game, you would have been confident in the fact that Donegal hadn't beaten Monaghan since 1983. That's 5 championship matches. That's a long, long time. And also Monaghan had a 17 unbeaten run up in Clonus. Yeah. So these are two things. Sure. And plus they were Ulster champions. So look, I think at the end of the day, Donegal deserved it. They were the better team at breaking down the blanket.
All right, well, Tomas, you've been looking at it tactically. And Donegal's defence deserve a lot of credit as well, you were saying, apart from how they counter-attacked.
Well, they played defensively, Des, I suppose. But look, I suppose coming into this game, you'd have to look at Kieran Hughes and Conor McManus as the biggest threats. I think Donegal coped very, very well with that. They packed up their defence. I was surprised with Monaghan the way they went with long ball. They kicked long ball aimlessly at times into the forwards when there was plenty of bodies inside. If you look here, a simple ball in, but it was a story of the day. Conor McManus, Kieran Hughes, no matter how many times the ball went in, there was no one-on-one situations. There's a ball put into Kieran Hughes here. Now, for the life of me, I don't know why he put this ball in. There was 2 lads inside on Kieran Hughes with another 5 coming back. You know, I mean, and this didn't happen once or twice, Des. It happened a good few times. Coming up here, this is Conor McManus out around the middle of the field. Normally, McGee would come across and block Kieran Hughes coming up the middle there. But no, he stuck with his man. They weren't going to allow Conor McManus in. Now, with this blanket defence at the back, Des, it allows the likes of Neil McGee, who's a really strong runner coming up the field. Neil McGee can comfortably leave his defensive duties knowing full well that he's covered at the back. Yeah. He came up a few times today, won a free. I think Donegal will be really, really happy after today. I think it was a huge, huge game for them. Here we see Neil McGee again. I think the 2 Gaelic lads, 2 McGees at the back are 2 really important players for Donegal. They really get into faces of other forwards, and I think they're really vital to McGuinness going forward once they get to Croke Park. I think McGuinness will be delighted. I think, for one, I questioned whether Donegal would come back this year with the hunger they had. I think everybody questioned, could they get back up to that level of hunger? I think they have. I think what McGuinness has done, winning 3 titles in 4 years above there, is amazing. I think he has a united group above there. I think they put up with a lot of slack, but I think they've done really, really well today. I questioned in terms of would they be able to. Monaghan bullied them the last few times. That wasn't going to happen today with Donegal. I think Donegal deserve a lot of credit, and I think Donegal are a team that can. We all said early on in the year we'd love to see them play Dublin. And I think hopefully it is heading that way, not just to see it. I think
the contrast in styles.
I think the rest of the country would love to see it happening, and I think Donegal are back.
All right, now they defend superbly, but they need to score. Paddy McBrearty didn't start, and you were having a chat amongst yourselves today. You know, maybe he hasn't been playing that well in the past. Owen, he came on and made a huge impact.
I couldn't believe he didn't start myself, but it's McGuinness masterstroke. Come on, 25 minutes, and look at the impact he had. Straight from the start, he got involved. You know, picking the ball up, like you seen here, like McFadden pops it out to him, and this flick up is brilliant. It's brilliant. Just one top flick up and just bang straight over the bar. And you could see he was up for the game. He made a leg been dropped, but he just kept going and going.
He's further out the field,
yeah,
though.
But he's playing, you know, that's why he hasn't really shone, because he's blanket defences all the time. He's cancelled them out, and he's in the corner there, and he's been involved in the tussle. You see him coming out the field here now, winning the ball, being able to turn and get that freedom, just running off the man's shoulder. That's McHugh there. McHugh gets into a bit of trouble here, and he flicks it out. He just pops this over the bar. He was up for the game. He was out to prove a point.
It was impressive stuff. Interesting, McHugh and himself combining for 2 of those scores. But it was more than that. Their engine room was what you pointed out.
Yeah, well, I just think that, as Moss mentioned there, this is their 3rd Ulster in 4 years, and the one year that they didn't win Ulster was when these 2 particular players were either unfit or not playing, and one of them is Niall Gallagher there. You know, this is him at his best in the middle of the field, a massive man, collects a brilliant ball, gives a great kick pass in, and then it's a point there for Anthony Thompson. You know, that's what I think Donegal missed last year. Here we can see him again cutting out a ball that was hit into Dick Clerkin. You know, again, just there he is. He's highlighted there, lines him up, looks at the pass, and another one cut up. He doesn't do the runs that he used to do anymore. He doesn't end up finishing up in the full forward like getting points. He plays between the 2 45s, but he plays it absolutely, you know, excellently. Yeah. And then Carl Lacey, he was the driving force behind Donegal when they first won their All-Ireland 2 years ago. As I said, last year he was not fit and wasn't the player that we all saw. But this is a brilliant dispossess here. If you look at him, kept his eye on the ball perfectly and punched the ball out. These 2 players for Donegal going forward are a big plus, and it's the reason why I think, along with the likes, they still have the talent, the likes of the Murphys, the McBreartys, the Derek O'Connor there who can come on as well. Yeah. These are the players that are going to take Donegal forward. OK, big praise tonight then for Donegal. But Tomas, what about Monaghan? It didn't happen for them today. No, it is, but sure, I mean, look, coming into this game, a lot of people were tipping Monaghan. One more game and they're back into the quarterfinals. I suppose looking at the backdoor system, it depends. Some teams take to it, other teams don't. Tyrone were a great team to take to it. Kerry took to it well as well. You know, it depends what way you get at your attitude. I like the way Monaghan are set up at the moment. I think Monaghan will still have a say in this championship.